Oy.
Okay, how about that? Live from coast to coast is what we're doing. And let me see here. Okay, so the title out of the mouth of babes came to mind, and a reaction being nervous laughter from unbelievers or believers, babes in Christ that are the same as unbelievers. If people read, they'll read that. You ready to play?
Sure.
Okay, let's see what this young, naive, so-called innocent, young girl has to say. A question for the supposed mature, the grown-ups in Christ, the grown-up babes. They're physically grown up, but
it's a big question too, isn't it? It's like the most important question, you would think, you know.
Well, it's a big one, and
it's a big one.
It stumps them. Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Oh, what do I do again? Oh, okay. Share screen. And Chrome tab. Video. Share. Okay. Bring it up. No. Okay. Was it up? Oh, yeah. It was up. Okay. Here we go. Hello, little girl.
My question is, you know how God knows everything before it happens, what will happen? He always gives people a chance to choose if they want to go to with him in heaven or hell. I don't understand why he makes people if he already knows if they're going to choose to go to hell.
So is she asking him that don't you know when what? God?
Why would God make people if he already knows who's choosing hell?
Right. Yeah. Boy, what a good question. Have you ever heard that question asked exactly like that?
Oh, yeah.
Just like that?
Yeah.
Really? I haven't.
Not in well, I mean, I've seen people on different videos, you know.
Oh, I've never heard anybody ask that question just like that. Just like that.
Well, I mean, close enough. I mean, not like every.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I meant just like that. That's very direct. That's very clear.
Yeah.
Why does God make people if God knows people are already going to go to hell? Never heard it asked like that. Not in such concise, short terms. No. Where'd you hear it? It's really a stunning question.
I don't know what exactly, but
I mean, I get the idea. People kind of ask it, but I've never heard it. Okay. So, did they already laugh?
No.
Okay, let's hear people laugh. I mean, heck with dealing with that right away. You know, all we can do is look at her pint size, shape, and voice and laugh. Okay, grown-ups, let's have it. Come on, give us your own best, because it's not going to be God's best.
I think
we're out of time.
The line of people, they're not going to follow up with anything quite as succinct and challenging as that. They're standing in line smiling, probably smiling at the, I don't know, the thought of their own question relative to that far-reaching, over-demanding, too challenging question from a little girl in front of them.
God create people who really go to heaven? Right? That's basically the question. Well, a couple of things we might say about that.
He took time to restate it while he's still trying to come up with an answer.
Oh yeah, he's buying time.
Yeah, it was another stall tactic. He really doesn't know exactly what to say to such a clear and concise question that really puts his whole theology and religious denominational doctrine on the line. Like a mirror, looking into a mirror as a beast, attempting to answer back with his own beastly, self-righteous, prideful insanity that he's about to say whatever it is, because we know he doesn't have an answer to this. Here's his try.
First of all, when God elects to create this universe, He knows how it's going to turn out because He's outside.
She said that already.
Right.
That's exactly what she
Another
already
stall
said.
tactic.
Yeah, now he's just putting other words.
Same thing.
Attempting to rephrase the question so he can just sort of get up the nerve and the gumption and pull upon his doctrines of traditional deception to hopefully get out of this.
Time, He knows the end from the beginning. But the people that believe and the people that don't believe in this universe are freely doing so. So somebody...
What? Did you get...
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what he just said, but it's a bunch of words that don't have anything to do with the answer.
Like, say, Billy Graham, who was a great evangelist for many years. God knew when He created the universe, Billy Graham would believe. He also knew that somebody like Richard Dawkins wouldn't believe. But He didn't force them to believe or not to believe.
He's pulling on famous people as though showing, I'm an adult, a mature, well-educated person that knows these leaders that represent what you're saying in a way, but not really answering the question yet. Not even really starting.
Right. And this, it doesn't even count like the billions of people that are alive. He just picks one rich and famous person and another, and then like maybe that's going to soften the blow or something if we think on 2 people instead of billions of people going to hell.
Yeah, and they're famous people that the little girl probably would never say, never mention, and has nothing to do with her question. He's just again going like, hey, I'm an adult, I know these famous people, let me rephrase your question by naming 2 people that show that I'm well educated in Christianity, the cult of Christianity.
He allowed them to make their own choice. Now, is it possible God could have created a universe where everyone believed? Yes, it's possible, but probably not logically. It's logically possible, but probably not actually achievable.
That's not even part of her question. He's throwing up something out of his imagination as
just
though it's
coming up with nonsense. Probably not even achievable.
Yeah, as though it's relative to her question, and it's not.
No. That doesn't answer the question.
No,
He's going around beating around the bush.
No, he just imagined something. He just admitted, I imagine this, consider this, and it's unlikely for this to happen, but let's spend some time imagining it. Okay, next.
Because if God is truly giving people free will, then they're going to make their own choice. And I don't know about you, but I don't always choose God. Maybe you do. You're so innocent, but I don't always choose God.
Yeah, but she's saying they already have. That God knows they already have chosen. Because God already knows where they're going to go.
Right.
And He agreed to that. Or he seemed to agree. He didn't dispute it. She said, if God's going to create people that He knows
these guys are all just smiling like,
are already going to go to hell, then why does He make them? Her point is the people that God knows, because He knows the future, who are going to go to hell or choose hell, why does God make them in particular? That's really the challenging part of the question.
Yeah, I haven't heard an answer yet.
No.
Okay.
He doesn't have one, really. Whatever he has, it doesn't make any sense, and it's ridiculous, and it's evil out of the deception doctrine that's common throughout the cult of Christianity.
And I would have fallen just like Adam fell if it was just me. So I think people inevitably will fall away from God. But some people don't want to be redeemed by God. The second thing we might say about that is that God still gets his free will done through people who don't believe in him, or his will done through people who don't believe in him. How? Richard Dawkins, for example, writes a book. A Christian reads a book and goes, wow, I never thought of that argument. I better go get an answer to it. It forces the Christian to actually become closer to God by reading what atheists write. In fact, the more...
Are you following that?
I'm trying to.
Yeah, he's got me lost.
I mean, it's still not answering the question.
No, he's down some other road.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all the path he took. This is what they do. This is what he had to do. He had to say this, all of this nonsense.
Yeah, because he can't answer.
Because he can't tell her that God is a monster. That my God is a monster, which is really what it is.
Yeah, she asked him, what about making people, creating people that God knows are already going to go to hell? Nothing to do with free will, really.
No, we're not talking about free will. Why did God allow this to happen for people who already may as well be predestined, you know, whatever. He knows they're going to hell.
Yeah, okay, was her question, does God create people knowing that some will go to hell? Or why does God create people that God knows in particular are going to go to hell?
Where's the scripture for that?
Is that what she asked?
That's what she asked. Why did God create knowing that people are going to choose hell already? Choose hell.
Yeah, those people that are going to choose.
Yeah.
Why create the people that God knows are going to choose? And if God knows they're going to choose, where's the free will?
It's that whole argument they're going to make where God knows who's going to choose him, therefore God chooses those he knows are going to choose him. That's
I don't know. I don't know. If God's already chosen them to go to hell, there's no choice they have.
Well, they chose it. That's what their argument is.
They chose it before they were born?
I don't know.
I don't either. All right, carry on, red shirt.
The more I read atheists, the more I'm convinced that Christianity is true, because I think their arguments are so poor. Thirdly, none of our arguments are so poor, because I think their arguments are so poor. Thirdly,
so he's what?
He thinks Christianity is more and more likely to be true because atheist arguments are so poor. He doesn't sound like a strong believer to me anyways.
No, it doesn't seem like somebody is being drawn to God.
No, this is like I'm trying to prove God is real kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, and I weighed some logic, some human logic, and some human rationale. And part of what I weighed in my process was that the argument or this position of atheists was so poor.
Right.
None of us would be here if it wasn't for atheists. Why?
What? Where did he come up with that? None of us would be here. I remember having watched this, and at this point, it was just I was done with it.
Okay. I could see why.
If it wasn't for atheists, we who? Oh, I guess
Church.
We the Christians wouldn't be here.
Okay, that makes plenty of sense. God does the work through atheists, I guess, that force. I don't know. What is that? I don't even know what that is. What is he saying?
He came up with it. She couldn't come up with that, but he certainly could come up with it as part of his answer to her, which doesn't answer the question. He's just talking. He can't answer. Here we go.
Because not everybody in my bloodline is a Christian, right? I maybe had grandfathers or great-grandfathers or grandmothers or whatever in my bloodline. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for atheists.
He's attaching that logic to the answer?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for his physical bloodline, he wouldn't be here. Okay? And do you see how that relates?
No.
Okay, let's see what's next. I bet it'll be more about bloodlines. For some, he thinks it's a good point. So let's see if there's a little more on bloodlines.
So there's a lot of reasons why God would have allowed people to freely choose not to trust in him. If he forced people to trust in him, then they wouldn't really be free creatures, and this wouldn't be a moral universe to begin with, would it?
Poor kid just looks down and just kind of like totally dazed.
Confused.
Yeah, totally confused and lost.
It wouldn't be, what'd he say? It wouldn't be a free...
It wouldn't be we wouldn't be free creatures, and it wouldn't be a moral universe.
If
we weren't, if we didn't have the freedom to choose, free will to choose God,
And what Christ say? No one comes to the Father unless the Father draws them.
Right. He doesn't believe that at all.
No.
No.
And if God draws a person, that must mean that God chose a person to draw near to God. Correct?
People choose God after God chooses them. It's totally backwards. Oh, man.
No. It's a pitiful state they've got themselves in. People believe in, or like, for example, their parents, or they had Christian parents, or they didn't have Christian parents, one or the other, gave rise to a decision to be with the good people. And the good people, how do you determine good people in the world? Well, everybody thinks, not everybody but in segments of society, people think that good people are Christian people, or they think and believe that many people believe that Christ is a good person throughout the world, even, Muslims, some Jews, and all of Christianity. And then plenty of people from different faiths and religions and philosophies. They'll reflect on Christ as a good person.
Yeah.
And if you don't like Christ or hate Christ, you would be a bad person.
Yeah.
And so people just decide to join one of the dividing, self-righteous, prideful denominations that have come up with their own name and their own leadership to start a whole new business that promotes their list of doctrines and beliefs that are going to promote and support the careers and lives and worldly positions of a bunch of their leaders, with some one or a group of antichrists at the top leading the whole bunch. There's no more than 10 seconds left. What's going to happen? Are we going to get to the answer?
No, that's it.
There's 10 more seconds.
It's going to be like this, white.
Okay, here they are. Last 12, 13 seconds. What? What happened? Wait a minute.
Moral universe to begin with, would it?
Wait, where's the answer?
If it wasn't for atheists. So there's a lot of reasons why God would have allowed people to freely choose not to trust in him. If he forced people to trust in him, then they wouldn't really be free creatures, and this wouldn't be a moral universe to begin with, would it?
Well, that doesn't even answer the question. If what she meant was, why does God create the exact people that are going to go to hell if God knows those people are going to go to hell? Why create them just so they can die and then suffer forever with no redeeming value? And his answer, I guess, was, well, there wouldn't be Christians if there weren't those people that God gives life to them so they can end up dying and then suffer forever with no chance or hope of being redeemed, or without any purpose or value other than torturing them. And it's because those people exist that we exist, because they are who they are and we are who we are, and we're not them. So therefore, we are. Yeah, we exist because we're not them. They're the bad people. We're the good people. And if we didn't have the bad people that deserve eternal torment and torture, there wouldn't be us that are going to have great amounts of joy and adventure and exceedingly abundant life with God forever. Okay.
All right.
The channel's called Cross-Examined.
Something's crossed.
Yeah, and we examined it a little bit. We cross-examined the Cross-Examine channel, but it was pretty difficult to cross-examine them when they really didn't. I don't even know. Anyway, I guess that's the end of this one. Okay. Anything
All right.
else? Anything else to end it?
One last thought. They say God does all this because love doesn't force anything, and then the same people say God is love and God tortures people for all eternity. But love doesn't force anything. That's more evil than torturing someone.
Okay.
Oh, it's so stupid. I mean, what kind of logic is that?
All in the name of good people of
It's
our own
bad.
making. We even have a building where we get together and look at everybody through the eyes of our own sense of what good is. To hell with God's good. In fact, God's good. Sometimes we get stumped by a question about God's good of our own making, and we don't know how to answer. But we sure do know how to get together on Sunday at 11, look each other in the eye and go, "You're a good person."
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's all I had.
That's the end of this.
Okay.
All right.
Poor girl.
Yeah. Really.